Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to the Adventurer's Tome Guide. I am Aegis, and today we're going to be finishing off the Anikka Adventurer's Tome. Now, we last left off in the Delphi Township, finishing off all the major overworld zones in the game, but today we're going to dive into the dungeons, which frankly takes up about half of the Adventurer's Tome. We've got 4 different dungeons to go through. One of them is not even listed in the tome, and we do have to complete fully 3 out of the 4, including getting items at the end of each one in order to finish off all the collections in the Adventurer's Tome. But anyways, let's jump right into it. Okay, and from here, we can head on into the first dungeon. That's Yeon's Barrier. Remember, pick the difficulty you have not done it on already. We're going to try to speed through this now, but keep in mind that this is a long dungeon with Mokoko Seeds all throughout the whole thing. So we will have to complete the dungeon if we want both the cooking ingredient and all of the seeds. First Mokoko Seed is right here. And the second one, just break these pots here. That's going to open up a secret jumping point. That'll put you up on the roof here. And there's the next Moko. Jump back down when you're done and continue on. And there's the third Mokoko Seed of this dungeon. And we just have to press on ahead now. And Moko 4 is right by the stairs here. Alright, next up in this area over here, there's going to be 2 hidden Mokoko Seeds. And the next cooking ingredient. Alright, first up over here, break these trees. And this pot behind there, investigate that for cooking ingredient number 3. Next up, we're going to find a couple hidden Mokoko Seeds. There's the first Moko right there. And the second Moko hidden in this area is right there. Okay, heading back now. Finish up and proceed with the rest of the dungeon. There is one more Mokoko Seed to collect. And right down here is the final Mokoko Seed. Run into the corner and grab that. Make sure you don't jump down. You cannot jump back. And with that out of the way, we can finish off the dungeon. Okay, and with the dungeon all set, we can now head to the Melody Forest and head into Jeok's Barrier next. Okay, mount up and head into the dungeon, remembering to pick the difficulty which you have not completed yet. And just press on through this dungeon. Once again, just like the last dungeon, this one does have its Mokoko Seeds spread all over the place, and we do have to proceed to the very end of the dungeon in order to get the first part of Hidden Story number 6. Once we get that, we actually have to complete another dungeon and go to the very end of that one to get the last part of Hidden Story 6. So unfortunately, these dungeons are not optional for 100% completion. Don't forget that Mokoko Seed out in the open right there. And with that, we can push on deeper into the dungeon. Make sure you grab this Mokoko Seed over here. And continue on up and grab this seed. And right over here, break these stalagmites and jump across. 2 Mokoko Seeds right here. Once you've got those, jump back and we'll head into the rest of the dungeon. One more Moko right up here. Okay, and with the boss out of the way, head up the stairs here. Mokoko Seed right up at the top. That's the last one. And all the way up in the corner up here is the first part of Hidden Story number 6. 30 minutes to complete that now. So we're going to head on over to the Twilight Mists. I'm going to finish off the last bit of that map that we didn't do already, and then continue on into the dungeon. All right, mount up and head on into Foul Hollow. We've got about 30 minutes to get this done, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. And there's only one thing to grab in this dungeon. That is Hidden Story number 6, Part 2. So once we have that, we actually don't need to do anything else in here. It's also not needed for the Adventurer's Tome completion. All right, and there it is right there. All right, from here, we're all set. We can actually triport back into the Twilight Mists to Cloud Valley and start the last dungeon. Okay, from here, a couple things to do before we jump into the dungeon. Grab the last vista here. And one Mokoko Seed right here. And mount up. We're going to circle all the way around. This dead end over here has one more seed. This dead end here has another seed. There it is right there. And back across the cliff, mount up. I'm going to circle down and grab two more seeds just in front of the dungeon entrance. There's one right there. And the final seed is on the other side, right here. All right, and we can now enter Bleak Edge. Okay, inside the Bleak Edge now, this is once again another pretty long and spread out dungeon, and the seeds are all over the place. However, the cooking ingredient is pretty early on. So if all you're here for is that cooking ingredient, you can quit out of this dungeon pretty quickly. Cooking ingredient number 7 is in this dead end over here. Just search the floor right there. All right, and with that recipe in hand, it's nothing but finishing off the dungeon and grabbing a few Mokoko Seeds along the way. Head into the secret cave here. 2 Mokoko Seeds here and here. From here, the remaining seeds are towards the end of the dungeon, so we're just going to skip ahead. All right, inside this secret cave where the serpent just was, there's actually another Mokoko Seed. And from there, jump down and continue on. There's going to be 2 more seeds to grab back to back. And here they are in this side cave right here. And with that out of the way, the only thing that remains to do is complete the dungeon. Okay, from here we can triport back to Chang'un to finish up. Okay, back in Chang'un now, we're going to grab a few more cooking ingredients and then we're ready to begin the crafting process. But first, we're going to grab 1 Mokoko Seed right up here. Mount back up, and we're going to head right into the center of the arena. And if by some chance you missed the Mokoko Seed, go ahead and grab that right here. You can also talk to the NPC right here, and she will start a chain of quests which will complete another story part 2. So go on ahead and do that if you have not already. And last but not least, Vista number 2 is right here. And with that out of the way, now it's time to collect the last few ingredients. First up is the ingredient NPC inside of this house here. Talk to the merchant and buy the 100-year-old centipede and the old dumpling. That's going to cost 9,000. This is much, much cheaper than the last time. And we're also going to have to buy some sugar lumps. Go ahead and pick up 100. Hopefully that's enough. Still only 3,000. These are very cheap compared to Tortoik. Buy all of those. And just so we don't have to come back, let's use those sugar lumps right now. And if you have terrible luck like me, go on ahead and buy as many as you need to until you get the legendary item. Okay, looks like I bought a little too many. Out of that 300, we have 270 left over, and there it is right there. That's the one we need. And unfortunately, we can't sell them back to the NPC, so we just have to continue on. And running past this house over here now, we're going to talk to the food merchant. This time, click on the ingredients tab, and we're going to buy some fortune cookies. This one is also an RNG drop, so we'll try 100 and see what happens. And we got it in the first 30. All right, and with those out of the way, we are ready to start cooking. So we just head into the chef's house here. And go on ahead and craft everything up. All right, with that out of the way, we are all set with the continent of Anikka. You can go on ahead and use all of those items that you crafted. That will complete everything in your adventurer's tome for you. And depending on how many collectibles you have, it should put you relatively close to 80%. As you can see, I just barely crossed that mark with some of the collectibles that I got. The rapport, of course, as I always say, we save that for when we come to it. There's really no quick way, unless you are going to whale it, to max out trusted rapport with all of the NPC characters. Yeah, you could spend a lot of real money, buy a lot of the rapport gifts off of the shop, and then just gift them up to 99 gifts per day if you really want to do that. But the best way is just to take the time, do it for free, do it the free-to-play way, like most people will do, and just use your emotes every day when you come to them. And then, of course, the collectibles just come from killing monsters or from buying them off of the marketplace. You can always check the marketplace from time to time to see if anything happens to be up cheap. And if it is, make sure you pick it up and snag it. That's probably the quickest way to do it. Otherwise, you just have to kill monsters and hope to get the right RNG drops. Okay, now you may be wondering, what about the two field bosses, Chuo and Chaotic Chuo? Well, as you can see here, I did manage to finally find Chuo up, so you can just go on ahead and kill him. He is on a 30-minute timer. You can check any channel. They all have individual chances to spawn him. But Chaotic Chuo, on the other hand, is a little bit different. Chaotic Chuo is an end-game field boss who spawns on specialized timers. You can find those timers right here in Procyon's Compass. If you go down to Field Bosses, it'll actually pull up a list of all the field bosses, and you can actually turn on an alarm for the field boss that you're looking for. So in this case, this is being filmed on March 3rd. So tomorrow, all day, for 24 hours, every hour, Chaotic Chuo will spawn. And you can hit the location button, and it will show you exactly where he spawns, right there in the Melody Forest in that Spring of Echoes that we talked about earlier. You can head there. If you are not the proper item level, so in this case, at least, I think it was 380, at least 380 or higher, you're going to have a difficult time surviving the boss. I have done him at, I believe it was 340 or 360. It was pretty rough. I was able to do some damage to him, and it is doable, but you need to be careful. And you're going to have a lot of other higher level players to essentially carry you through it. This is not solo content. But fortunately, at least at this point in the game, there are tons of people doing these bosses every single day. So make sure you set the alarm for it and go on ahead and get it done whenever you have the free time. Okay, and that concludes this portion of the Adventurer's Tome guide. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel so that you don't miss my guides and walkthroughs. And as always, if you like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below on what you would like me to create a guide for next. And until tomorrow, may you all enjoy your adventures in Arkesia.